We're doing a sit-down video today. We're doing a sit-down video today. Hey. So today we're going to talk about twin flames. Personally, I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. I think that twin flames are an absolute load of that the spiritual community uses to kind of like before you click off the video though, you should know that I started looking up what exactly a twin flame is, because I've heard this before. I kind of had an overall understanding, but before I make a video, I like to like really know, what I'm talking about, or like kind of know. So I started doing some research. Awkwardly enough, I found that I am actually in a twin flame relationship. So, I wanted to know what is it that kind of makes up a twin flame relationship, and these are some of the things that I found that also happened in my relationship that I believe could be a twin flame relationship. So I'm not gonna like fully say I believe it just yet. You'll have to wait till the end of the video. I guess the reason why I was so skeptical about twin flames is because most of the people that are talking about it are trying to sell you something like a twin flame reading, or find your twin flame blah blah blah, or how to manifest your twin flame through orgasm, like it was just like always trying to sell something. So that's why I was like, red flag number one. So anyways, here's what I found. Prior to meeting your twin flame, it's common to dream of the other person. And it's funny because when I met Jack, who I think is my twin flame, he told me about a dream that he had of this girl that was like sitting on his lap with this like long, flowy blonde hair. And that was kind of the moment that he felt like he needed to talk to me when he met me, because I looked so similar to the girl in his dreams. And then also we met, we'll do a whole story on how me and Jack met in another video, but we met while he was here in California doing like a guy's trip with all of his friends, and he kept telling all of his friends like, oh, I'm gonna meet the girl of my dreams while I'm there. Kind of jokingly, but like, hey, there's usually some sort of premonition, sort of like synchronistic happenings that are going on leading up to you meeting your twin flame. And it's funny because right before I met Jack, I had made this list, which I highly suggest if you are trying to meet your person or your twin flame, sit down and make a list of 10 things that you have to have in a partner. And it can be as detailed as you want. Like one of the things that I put on there is I wanted, my partner to have a really good relationship with his mom, but not like a creepy one. And I was like really specific with that. And that definitely happened with Jack. Little things like whatever it is that you want to list off that you want. It can be something physical, something emotional, something broad. List it up, because then you have a good idea of the person that you want. So on one hand, I was like, yeah, that could be like a premonition kind of situation, but it could also be me manifesting my reality before I even really knew what manifesting was. That was bad. Before anyone freaks out, this is not sponsored, but this is a healthy soda. Yeah, it's sweetened with monk fruit, so like, get off my dick. A twin flame is supposed to be a complete mirror of you. So you'll see like similarities in the other person. And I remember like when me and Jack first met, we kept saying like, oh my God, we're the exact same person. And you'll have like similar past or upbringing, which I think me and Jack actually had a completely different upbringing. Like the way that we were raised was like definitely completely different. But the happenings that, we went through were very similar. I don't know if that makes sense. So they say about twin flames, that you should be able to like fall asleep with them like really naturally. It shouldn't feel awkward at all. You should really be able to like pass out and have like the best sleep. And when me and Jack first were seeing each other, we would like cuddle, and we felt like we were like a little puzzle piece that like kind of just like fit perfectly, and we could like cuddle facing each other. This doesn't really happen anymore, but it was definitely happening then. We still cuddle, but it's not like, which kind of like is a perfect segue into this next situation. After the honeymoon phase, it can get really intense if you're in a twin flame relationship because all of the past baggage really starts to surface. But, you know, I feel like this is very similar to like all relationships, but, you know, and not only is the baggage being brought up, but because you're such a mirror image, everything is kind of like highlighted and really put in your face, and, you know, you're so similar that you know how to like really bring out the worst in each other in a sense. Like, they can bother you in a way that no one else has ever been able to bother you. They can anger you and upset you in a way that no one else has ever been able to do because they are connected to you and they are you. But that doesn't mean it always has to be negative. They can also help you feel these feelings that maybe you've never felt. They can be both negative and positive, so according to the internet. But this is kind of closely tied to a different kind of relationship, which is called a karmic relationship. And a lot of us are facing these karmic relationships. It's kind of when people are both in a relationship together and they like can't stand each other. Neither one of them really know what the fuck they're doing in that relationship, but they're still in it because they feel like they have to, because it's serving some sort of karmic purpose. Typically, this kind of resonated with me, and typically when you meet your twin flame, a lot of synchronicities start to show up, like seeing repetitive number sequences like 1111 or 444. You could be texting each other at the same time because you're attuned to the same frequency as the other person. And me and Jack had this little phrase that we would say because we would always like think of things and say things at the exact same time, and it was PC. But I can't remember what that means. Maybe it was like physically connected, I think. Jack, what is PC?
Physically connected?
Well, there you go. It wasn't physically, because that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, for the first 6 months, 5 or 6 months of me and Jack's relationship, we spent it in different countries. And so we got to know each other on a really deep level, but we would literally say things and think things at the exact same time. And so we would always send that. I guess that resonates. In every twin flame relationship, it's a union of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. That doesn't mean that only male and female. That doesn't mean like you have to be straight in order to be in twin flame relationships. You have like the same core values, which is something that definitely is the same for me and Jack. We have the same kind of beliefs. And we went through this spiritual awakening together, which was another thing that I found. Once you create that relationship, create that bond, the other person or the other half to your twin flame should be like a spiritual catalyst. It should kind of like supercharge your awakening, which I feel like is what happened with me and Jack. But I also think we were like taking hella psychedelics. And yeah, we went through this whole awakening together. We went vegan together, and everything just kind of did happen. We started what was going to be a clothing company, which is the Instagram To Higher Consciousness, which was also a website. You guys can check those out. They're still there. But we were selling like t-shirts and stuff of like all these like conspiracy theories and things. We were literally awakening together back in like 2012 and 2013. And so we started that together, and it was actually called THC because we were smoking so much weed at the time, To Higher Consciousness. And we felt that THC or weed was kind of like our path to higher consciousness, or maybe it was us being twin flames. I don't know. So what would be like the purpose of twin flames? Like, these are the questions that I had for myself. Basically, twin flames are here to help raise the vibration of the planet, because we're creating love in our own lives, and so that kind of like spreads out to everybody around us. Typically when twin flames come together, they have some way in mind, or they start to create some way that they can help humanity and help just raise the frequency together. That's the whole point. Ways to know that like it's not really your twin flame. Honestly, I hate the word twin flame. I think it's so dumb. And it's something that literally some human made up. I tried to figure out who made it up. I couldn't find that anywhere. What I did find is the first reference to what I'm trying to explain. It was actually from Plato. Love is composed of a single soul inhabiting two bodies. Basically, that was my belief. I think that our soul, like when 3, 2, 1. When we're created, you know, we kind of come from the stars, we have all this like stardust inside of us, and we're these beings that just like burst into reality. And so when that process happens from the spirit world and coming down into the physical world, basically the soul is split into two. Well, my belief is that it's not just split into two, but split into many. And I did hear someone saying that like
you can only have up to 7 twin flames,
which 7 is a very interesting number, and maybe that's true, but it's also kind of like bordering the lines of soulmate connections. And soulmates don't always have to be like your significant other. It can be someone who you're extremely connected to on a deeper level. So in my opinion, a twin flame is someone who you are obsessed with, and it's not an unhealthy obsession like, why you so obsessed with me, boy, I wanna know. No, not like an unhealthy obsession, just that there's never like a moment of like,
are they into me?
Aloofness, basically, you know, playing hard to get. There's none of that like game kind of situation. It's instant connection. The other concept of twin flames that I want to go over is the runner and the chaser. The belief is that in a twin flame connection, not right away, but after the honeymoon phase happens and all the baggage and starts to come up in the relationship, not always that, I don't think it always stays as one person, but there's one who's the runner who kind of like runs away and is like, oh, I don't want this, and the other person who's like the chaser, who's like, baby, come back, you can blame it all on me. And so I think that actually fluctuates between the two. And something that I think is valid is that it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. It's an illusion. Like, all of this is an illusion. You know, these are tests of the ego trying to distract us from what truly matters. So instead of going out and searching for like, oh, who's my twin flame? Who's gonna make me whole? Baby, you are whole. Like, you got everything that you need inside of you. Don't let twin flames and soulmates and karmic relationships and all this spiritual shit take you away from what truly matters, and that's loving you, loving yourself, and like really honoring you. Because if you don't love you, girl, no one's gonna love you. Well, they might love you, but it's gonna be complicated. So like, I don't think that it's always like, oh, if there's a runner and a chaser, like, oh, it's all wrong. But what I really think is, if you find yourself in a relationship where you're like, oh, they're the runner, I'm the chaser, or they're the chaser, I'm the runner, check yourself and just ask, like, could this be a chance for us to both grow? Do we need to be our own beings for a little while to come back together as one and really be in a beneficial, mutually beneficial relationship? Twin flames coming together is something that happens when it's something that happens when the two beings' energies are balanced. It should be kind of like a yin and yang situation. So if you're not feeling fulfilled or growing from that person, taking some time apart to really work on yourself can be beneficial. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like the word twin flame because I feel like, I don't know, why put labels on things, you know? But I do believe in the concepts behind it. So that's it. A lot of you requested something about twin flames. Here's my opinion on it. I hope it didn't break anyone's hearts. Hope it inspired you. Are you in a twin flame relationship? Are you in a karmic relationship? Are you in a relationship with yourself, working on self-love and healing? Before we go, I'm gonna share my fave comment from the video, the last video, because I didn't do it in the last one. Sorry. Let's look at my favorite commenter. So this is from my community healing Los Angeles opening a portal video that I just posted on my vlog playlist, so you can go binge watch those if you're new here. Hi. I like all these comments. I'm gonna do that random. Okay, my favorite comment comes from Cara Papafagos. Papafagos? I might have really butchered that, but it says, I'm feeling the rap too, girl, so that's why I love it. And if you're not sure who we're talking about, it's probably Spectrum or D-Rock the Menace, so you should go check out my last vlog. In the meantime, I love you guys. Stay weird.